Good morning, everybody, and lovely to see you here. Who has used the online resources in the library already? Who hasn't? Short answer is bugger. The university spends millions of dollars a year today already creating a digital library. There's electronic journals, there's databases, full text resources, news services, newspapers, a wealth of stuff up there that was available as soon as the network was restored on the day of the earthquake. You could have been reading your stuff on the line from Saturday. That being said, the James Height Library is not open for term 4, and certainly there's a lot of collection in that building, and that has created a degree of anxiety for students as to, oh dear, what will I do? Well, please remember there is a huge online library already, and I will tell you a little bit more about what we're doing to increase access to information resources to you. The reason the James Height Library, the central library in the James Height building, is not open is that it is the tallest building on campus. The building behaved absolutely perfectly. It was meant to sway and it was meant to move. The book stacks fell like dominoes on some of the floors, and we have had to get the manufacturers of the shelvers to come in and assess the damage and to assess why some stacks fell and others did not. We need to be absolutely clear because there are potentials for aftershocks of a significant magnitude, and for the future we know that the shaky isles can deliver up an earthquake at any time. We need to be sure that those shelving systems are as safe as we can possibly have them before we let people into the building. As the taller the building, the more books jumped off the shelves, whether the shelving crashed or not. So that is really why the Central Library is not open. We need to make sure it's safe. We've already relocated the high demand collection from the Central Library to the Law Library. So anything that you would expect to find on the hour loans, the 3-day loans, etc., are going to be available to you in the Law Library. Today we have opened Law, Education, the Macmillan Brown and the Engineering and Physical Sciences libraries to you. But again, some of the book stacks are off limits while we've got the engineers in checking them, rebracing, replacing. The engineers have to be very sure that the next lot of shelving they manufacture for us, and indeed other libraries in New Zealand, they're likely to stand up to at least a 7+ earthquake. So some of the areas are off limits, particularly until the end of next week. The 2nd and 3rd level of the Engineering and Physical Sciences Library is not available. The ceiling fell in. We have made this ceiling safe, but we have to replace the ceiling. The book stacks that didn't fall over, many of them had to be removed so that the contractors could make the ceiling safe. Given that they've assured me they can get the new ceiling up by the end of next week, we're not going to put up temporary shelving and put books back until we get the ceiling replaced. So we'll put in a system of retrieving items from the shelves that are standing on the 2nd and 3rd level of the engineering library, but that will be a work in progress. As I said, we spend millions of dollars already on electronic information resources, but we put out a please help us to our key publishers and book agents and subscription agents, and we have been absolutely overwhelmed with their generosity. Just this morning, actually breaking email, I kid you not, the eBree platform, which is the platform we mostly use for ebooks, has just opened up another 50,000 ebooks to us today. Taylor & Francis, again another major academic book supplier, has opened up 28,000 electronic books. EBSCO has provided 17,000 books. Some of these publishers have just simply said, whatever we've got available, we will make available to you for free, end of November, some of them, end of December, end of February for others. ProQuest, one of our major suppliers, quantified the amount of access. If we were buying it from them over an annualised basis, it would have cost us $900,000 to get access to the resources that they've just made available. Students, today the University of Canterbury has the biggest, best and brightest electronic information resource collection of any university in Australasia and probably the world. So please make use of it. As you can imagine, linking thousands upon thousands of resources to the catalogue to give you database sign-in pages actually takes a bit of time. So I recommend you check the library web pages every day, because there will be developments. We're trying to put all the e-books into the catalogue so that if you're just searching for a book, you'll find the e-resource. We realise, given that some of you didn't put your hands up, that your familiarity with the online library already, we will be putting in place additional support for yourselves and for the academics to make sure that you're capable of using these resources to the very best advantage. So again, watch the library web pages, pester your academics to make sure that you're getting the skills you need to use this huge wealth of electronic information that will be in many ways probably replicating and most likely enhancing what was available in the Central Library. The Law Library will become the new Central Library. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in the Law Building on the second and third floor. The third floor today is out of bounds because of the shelving being checked. After the curfew's been lifted, the Law Library will be opening the same hours as the Central Library. Now, for this week, I know this is going to be a little bit confusing, of course we haven't talked to you about the curfew yet, but the Education Library on the Dovedale campus will be available to you till 10 p.m. tonight, tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. The Dovedale campus was virtually untouched in the earthquake, and we're confident that we can provide you with a safe, warm and inviting library environment for you to be doing some study while you're on campus this week. We have had to obviously find an alternative arrangement for the loft. We are trying to progress a plan that we had in the library that was going to make the second and third level of the James Height building more of a study space that might be available 24/7. We'll see if we can expedite that and put that in place as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, with the support of colleges across the university, I know some of these spaces aren't the most beautiful, however, they've still got workstations in them. From next week, the Erskine building, there will be 24-hour access to computers in the crypt, in the computer science workrooms, and the maths stats workroom will be available after teaching hours, and there will be support in the crypt for, if you're having difficulty using the resources as you had in the loft, Monday to Friday and Saturday as indicated. The Mac Lab in the Undercroft of the James Height building will be open next week, 24 hours. The Vault, which is in the Commerce building, next week will be open till 11. The Dock, guess where the Dock is? The Law Building. Will remain open 24 hours from next week. And as I've said, the College of Education, it's just across the road. It's a lovely campus and it is available to you all, whether or not you're a student in this College of Education. And because we're very technologically savvy, we have Google Maps being updated to give you the directions to all of these resource rooms in case you need to find your way. There will also be large signs. But I think we know it's going to be difficult. There are a myriad of information resources that have been made available to you. I'm sure you'll be able to find alternatives to what you thought you were going to be accessing in the Central Library. However, as the days go by, as the weeks go by towards the end of your academic term, we will be making more resources available to you as we work out ways to extradite books from the Central Library, find alternative ways of shelving them, and therefore being able to do fetch and retrieves on behalf of students and staff. So check the library website daily or ask your library colleagues in the Law Library, the Engineering and Physical Sciences Library, the Education, and indeed the Macmillan Brown. If you've never been there, it's a lovely little library. It's open to you as well. So good luck. We will make it bigger and better for you in the fullness of time.